Hi, I'm Hack, and I'm here to discuss some of the different fixing types we use on the pull handles today, and we're going to run through each of the different types. So we're going to focus a bit on bolt-through fixings for pull handles now. So traditionally we can supply two different types of bolt-through fixings. So we have an M8x60, which has a slotted head on it. And that usually is supplied for door thicknesses of up to 44mm thick doors, and then for longer doors, generally doors that tend to go up to 54mm, we can supply an M8x70 bolt here. So we're going to talk about back-to-back fixings now for pull handles. Now the back-to-back fixings that we supply are unique to our pull handles and our pull handles only. Our back-to-back fixings will only suit our pull handles. That's because the design of the pillar is uniquely manufactured to suit the head of the back-to-back fixing bolt. So the typical thing to remember when ordering these back-to-back fixings is that we obviously need to know the diameter of the pull handle that the fixings are to suit. This is purely because the head of the bolt diameter varies according to the pillar that it's to suit. So this particular back-to-back fixing that I've got in my hand, which is probably one of the longer ones that we normally supply to what we supply traditionally, is made up of a head, and then we have two collars, one which is recessed into the pillar and one which sits on the face of the pillar. And this is to stop the bolt head from sliding in. As you'll notice, the bolt head is slightly concave, and that pure reason for that is so that the grub screws bite on the narrow part of the head, and that basically the grub screws bite into the head to create a bit of friction to stop you being able to pull that handle back off the door. For the glass door fixings, as you can see, the bolt is slightly smaller in length, and traditionally we supply these for 10mm, 12mm or 15mm glass doors. We supply all the neoprene and nylon washers to go with, along with the sleeves that sit in the hole in the glass door. Traditionally we recommend that you drill a 13mm diameter hole in the glass. That will house that 12.5mm OD sleeve, and that will stop the bolt from rocking. And then obviously you'll put the nylon washers either side of the glass to hold that all into place. There are options for double glazed doors where we can supply spaces which sit in the void, and with the availability of the nylon washers and the spacers, the thread is completely hidden and obscured from all view, so it looks like a neat fitting. So the next method of fixing we're going to come on to is secret fixing now, or face fixing, two different forms of describing it. And there are two methods, so you can secret fix to timber doors and you can secret fix to metal doors. The only difference is that the secret fixing for timber doors comes with a screw thread, and the secret fixing for metal doors comes with a machine thread. So the idea is you screw the screw thread into the timber door, the bolt head sits proud, and you slide the pillar over the top, and the grub screws locate onto the head of the bolt in order to secure the fixing. For a metal door, obviously the screw thread is not appropriate, so we supply the machine thread. We recommend that the door is prepped with a receiver to accept an M8 thread. The method is similar, so the M8 thread will then locate into the receiver. You slide the pillar over the top of the head of the bolt, and then you grub screw onto the head of the bolt. So the next method of fixing that we're going to discuss is cover caps or pignose fixings. Now, the reason these were called pignose fixings, and the name is kind of stuck with them, is because we used to drill the face with two holes, which obviously look like a pig's nose. But now what we do for the added security is we put a hole, a 3 or 4 mil hole to the side of the head, and I'll explain the reasons as to why in a second. So for the pignose fixings, these come with a range of diameter of heads, all starting from 16 mil diameter and going up to 32 mil diameter. We have done bigger heads, such as 50 mil diameter in the past, as a special order. And traditionally they come with two standard thread lengths, so a 70 mil under the head for a timber door and a 30 mil under the head for a glass door. And again, as I've previously mentioned, we do supply all the neoprene or nylon washers and sleeves for the glass doors to go with the bolts to make sure that there's no that the thread is not rubbing against the glass or hole in glass, to ensure there's no friction in terms of the fixing there. So these are, as I mentioned before, these are completely tamper proof. So the idea is you will tighten this by hand onto the glass of the timber door, locate a 3 or 4 mil Allen key into the hole on the side of the head, turn so that it can't be undone by hand. And the reason it can't be undone by hand is because it's round. You're unable to get purchase onto the head with your fingers to unwind it, hence the reason why it's an alternative method of fixing if you don't want to see an ugly bolt on the other side of the door.